Optimize your property for income without tenants, appreciating value wisely.
Without appreciation and without tenants. Before we talk about numbers, let me ask the question most property owners never ask themselves. As a property owner, is your property paying you today, right now, without market appreciation, without tenants, and without you working harder? Because if the answer is no, then your property is not a wealth engine yet. It's just stored effort. See, most successful people, especially hardworking folks, real estate investors, are doing three things at the same time. They're paying down the property, they're trying to save for retirement, and they're trying to fund obligations like college or maybe even another property. And they're doing this all with separate buckets of money. See, banks don't separate goals. They stack objectives. They take $1 and have it fulfill 10 different obligations with that same dollar. Why is it that the average property owner doesn't do the same thing? What I'm going to show you is how the same dollar can build reserves, increase retirement, solve life events, reinvest into other opportunities, pay down debt, or whatever you may need the money for without market risk and without tenants. Let me introduce you to a very common client profile that I see. In this particular case, let's just call her a professional mom, okay? She's got great income. She owns a property. She's got a crazy busy life, but she's not aware of how much money she is losing. She's a 42-year-old healthcare executive with an income of $165,000. Property value of $650,000, lives in a beautiful home. Mortgage balance is $410,000, and her mortgage payment is $2,900 a month. But she's spending an extra $750,000, excuse me, an extra $750 per month to pay off her property faster. Now she's got retirement savings of $280,000, and her concern is she knows that she's doing well, but she's feeling financially tight because she's trying to get rid of that $410,000 balance. So is she sending an extra $750 to the right place? Is she doing the right thing? Is that how you get rid of a mortgage? And should she even be doing that? See, that money was doing exactly one job. It is reducing the balance she already controlled. But she has no access to that money, no flexibility, and no cash flow from those dollars. So let's go through this and let me show it to you. In this case here, we're going to talk about how do we deal with positioning our property so that it pays us instead of us positioning ourselves to try to pay off a mortgage faster. So let's take a look at it. Let's see how this works. So in her case, when we look at this, we can see that we're not going to increase her budget. We don't need any tenants, and we're not going to be gambling with her money. Okay. We're going to redirect that same $750. We're going to position her so that the $750 goes into a private cash reserve system. So let's go through this. With the cash reserve system, we're not dependent on the stock market. Her money continues to compound despite she's using the money at the same time. And it can be accessed again without interrupting any growth or any compounding. Okay. So over a 10-year period, $90,000 is contributed. And at the same time, when we look at these numbers, we can clearly see how that she is in a far better financial situation. Okay, so let's take a look at it. So in her case, over a 10-year period, she's going to contribute $90,000 in those extra payments, right? That's approximately 150 to $180,000 available. Why? Because now she has a six-figure cash reserve. See, ladies and gentlemen, what we've got to be careful of is that when we're trying to solve a financial problem, we're not creating three other problems that are unintentional all at the same time. In this case, we want to help her so that the reserves allows her to supplement her retirement contributions, to offset future income disruptions, for example, a layoff, or maybe she has to take care of a parent or something like that. We're going to reduce the mortgage interest strategically and invest when opportunity shows up. See, what I love about this is that she didn't wait for appreciation and she didn't rely on tenants. Her property became a liquidity engine. We literally used her property to build her cash reserves while at the same time creating a 7-year debt elimination system so that we're bringing the debt down while building the cash reserves using the same budget that she was working with before. Okay, let's take another look at another case design. In this case, we've got a dad who's preparing for college and retirement. Now, I get a lot of these. A lot of parents who are trying to help their children, unfortunately, oftentimes struggle between trying to build their retirement and help their children fund education or private school. So, when I was speaking with this dad, he said, college is coming, but retirement is coming right after that, right? So, he's 48 years old. He has an income of $140,000. He has a property value of $720,000, a mortgage balance of $380,000, and a retirement savings of $320,000. His child is 10 years old, and he thinks he's probably going to need about $140,000 to fund college for his son. The fear that he has is he doesn't want to take loans and he can't afford any mistakes because this is not only his child's education we're talking about, but we're also talking about the quality of his life after college is paid for. So if he does nothing different, ladies and gentlemen, and he uses loans to pay for college. Unfortunately, when he does that, he's going to be depleting his capacity to build his retirement reserves. It's going to put him in a bad position because now he's actually working against himself while he helps his child. And the other piece, he's got a massive block of property equity value that is sitting and not earning any interest. It is not building any cash reserves and is working against him. In this case, that's what we call three risks stacked against one family. So what do we want to do? We want to unify his goals, okay? We want to treat college as well as his property equity value and his retirement as separate problems, but we're going to solve all three of them at the same time. We want to double property equity value. We want to double cash reserves. We want to create cash flow, even though this is not an investment property. So in this case, we reposition $1,000 per month from inefficient savings and extra payments. We did not change his lifestyle. We did not work against his budget. Over an 8-year period, he contributes $96,000. Approximately $160,000 to $190,000 is available. But here's the key. College is paid from the reserves while the reserves continues to grow. This is a very important talking point because this is creating arbitrage where he's solving one problem while at the same time taking care of a second problem. And I love this application to when I am helping parents to fund that education or buy that next property but at the same time, we're still building the cash reserves and keeping the budget intact. We call this, in this case, the retirement multiplier effect. Why? Because retirement contributions were never interrupted and cash flow pressure was removed. That's the way that our finances should be structured, especially when we're learning how to use our property equity value. So his projected retirement grew from 1 million to now over $2.8 million, and we kept his budget intact. That's not about higher returns, ladies and gentlemen. Please, please don't focus on higher returns. What we want is the better positioning of our money. So let me ask you something here. If you saw that both of these families used the same principles and neither relied on appreciation, neither of them relied on tenants, neither of them relied on market risk or some other kind of variable issue, would it make sense to at least see whether your property could do the same thing for you, whether your property can be used to solve current financial needs while at the same time working towards future financial goals, keeping your budget the same? If I can map this out for you, and let's just say 15, 20 minutes or so, using your numbers, so you can see whether your property is working or quietly leaking value and working against you, would that be helpful? If so, in the chat, just put in the chat there, please help, and we'll send you a link for the next steps. Listen, the way that our finances are structured should be designed to solve current financial problems while at the same time creating opportunities to focus on future problems using the same budget. And in the course of that, we want to double our property equity value, separate from market appreciation. We want to double our cash reserves without market losses or taxes. And we want to double cash flow or create cash flow even without the need of a tenant. When we think from this perspective, we now adopt the banker's mindset versus the borrower's mindset, and we're able to accomplish multiple financial objectives at the same time without trying to pursue higher rates of interest. It's all about positioning, ladies and gentlemen. So listen, let's talk about this. Let's see how we can help you solve your issue and utilize the money that you're sitting on at the same time.